Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and I hope you're doing well. It has been a while since I tried to record a video. We'll talk about that once I get started. But I just want to say that I'm grateful to be back. I'm grateful to still be healthy and happy and grateful for a lot of blessings in my life. I want to do a tile that was suggested in March of last year, March of 2020. And this was called hashtag is BBCV _tangling, and that stands for bye bye coronavirus. And I want to do this because there's still a lot of concern about the virus. Several people in my immediate family have had it, and now my daughter and my 4-year-old and 8-year-old granddaughters have it. So our family has really been affected lately. And as I was flipping through some of my old tiles to come up with an idea for a video, I decided that this would be a good one to try. This is the one that I did, and the date says March 12th of 20. And these are the patterns that I put in. This pattern is actually BB by Zentangle. That's the pattern name for what we're going to use as the string in the background. Now, I'm not going to do this exact tile. If you go to Instagram or Facebook or the Mosaic app and type in this hashtag, you will find just some incredible ideas for this tile. And I'm going to do mine on one of my 4-inch squares. This is actually 4.5 because it goes into one of my books that I use for disc binding, like this, using these rings. And so that's why I have it a little bit longer, but you can do this on any size tile that you would like. So again, we are going to start with the Tangle BB in the background of this. And the things that I'm going to use are a micron 01, possibly a graphic one. I really like that when I'm filling in areas with a lot of ink. My graphite pencil, a tortillon, and I could end up using an eraser. And we're going to start with creating these strings, which are the pattern for BB. So I'm going to turn mine on my side, on its side, and just make some rectangles of various lengths. And I'm going to start with pencil just so I know I have it the way that I want it. I'm not looking for perfection, but I do want to make sure I have enough room to put in several of these rectangles. That may be a little bit too skinny. Let's go over just a little bit. So now you see why I want to have an eraser also. And these don't have to line up exactly. I'm going to put a little bit of small one in the middle. And I'm trying to make room for 6 of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Five. Oops. 6. Okay, I think that'll be fine. So now I'm going to ink this in. So I switched to fiber optics in my area because it's supposed to be really fast. And of course, when they installed that, they removed all the cables and stuff from my previous internet service provider. And I thought everything was going to be really, really fast. But I've learned a lot since I got that installed. And I have fast speeds going to the router coming off the fiber optics, but I think the router has some issues, and I've tried and tried to work with my new internet service provider, and they promised me that their equipment is wonderful and working fine. But it seems like every time lately that I started to try a video, I would start having issues. The video would pause and I would get a message saying that my internet connection was too slow. So it's been really frustrating. And I wanted to do a video again, so we're going to hope for the best and just go ahead and try a video. Okay, so there I have my 6 little patterns for BB. And I'm not going to fill any of them in like you see in that 2x2, but I am going to put inside border or aura inside each one of these. And I know a lot of people like to, when they do their horizontal lines, they pull the pen toward them. I seem to do better going in this direction, but I have found that more and more I can't do a nice straight line, but I'm not going to use a ruler on these because we're not looking for perfection. We're just doing our art and not worrying about it. And I thought that I would show you some patterns that might be new to you, not commonly used or not commonly seen, at least as far as what I've seen. But I have most of the patterns that I have used in the past on little 2x2 cardstock cards that I keep in a notebook. That helps me because I keep them organized, such as in their framework, like grid or ribbon or organic, floral, things like that. I keep them divided that way. Okay, so now I have the inside border on each of these. And I think the first one that I'll start with is called Telis, I guess is how you'd say that, by Chrissie Frampton. And this can be used as a vine type pattern, but you can also do it in a grid. And I really like how it looks in a grid. So we're going to start by dividing this rectangle again down the middle. And then we're just going to divide this into squares. So my youngest grandchild is 4, and our schools have gone back to brick and mortar. They actually had brick and mortar. They were meeting in school last year, but we homeschooled because we were worried about the virus. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit odd size. We were worried about the coronavirus, and it was rough trying to do homeschooling. Okay, let me start with this. So what we're going to do next is put like a little leaf shape here, and then we're going to divide it. Let me zoom in. I'm going to try to stay on screen. Forgive the wiggling. Okay, so we're going to put a line down the middle and then some little lines down that one side. Okay, and now we're going to turn and do it on the opposite side. Turn and do this one again. I think for the rest of these, I'm going to put this on this side. I should have done it on that one, but it's okay. So we're just going to continue going down like that. Oops. So my 4-year-old granddaughter on Monday went to pre-K. It was her first day, and she was very shy, very upset. We had a chemical leak in our area on that same day, and she had told her mom that she had a sore throat, but everyone was feeling kind of odd because of that chemical leak. So she went on to school, and then that night she started having a fever and a cough. And so she stayed home from school, and the fever got a little bit worse. And my daughter took her to the doctor, and they did the test, and yes, she has the coronavirus. So unfortunately, unknowingly, she exposed her whole class, in the first week of school. It's very sad. I don't know if anyone else is sick, but we have felt really bad about it. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to add some lines, even though you can't see the whole thing. All right. Oh, that's the one I was talking about. I just put a partial. So on this side, now we're going to add these. So it's kind of like a fescue. It's going to come around and put a little top on it. And then she puts 3 dots and then put another little one and 3 dots. So we're going to continue doing that. Come around. Okay. So back to the school situation, we didn't know until my granddaughter went to the doctor that she had coronavirus, and her sister, who is 8 years old, was still going to school, and now she has to also quarantine at home, but there's a possibility that she could be sick too. It's just, it hits home how easily this virus can spread. We don't know where she got it. We don't know anyone else close by that she was exposed to. My daughter is very careful and they wear their masks when they go out. But I think this new variant is kind of scary. I am 67 years old. My sister is 70 and we live together. And it's frightening. We have been fully vaccinated, but so was my brother and his wife, and they got sick. They were not hospitalized, but they said it was pretty tough on them. I really hope, and I'm going to say pray, hope and pray that my grandchildren are okay and my sister and I are okay. So far, we're fine. But again, that's the reason that when I saw this tile, I thought, I want to resurrect that idea of bye-bye coronavirus. It's just so tiring to have this still affecting so many people and our lifestyle. Okay, so there's that one. And here I'm just going to bring one line up and then go ahead and bring this one around with that. Okay, so the next one that I want to do, again, that was Telis. The next one I want to show you is called Golven, which also means waves, and it's by Mariet Lustenhouwer. And I'm going to put it in this one. And we're going to start, as you can kind of see here, we're going to start by making these zigzag triangle lines. And I'm going to try to make them about the same size, but if they're not, it's okay. Sorry. Okay, so now inside each one of these, we're going to put some aura lines. And I would encourage you to try this tile with other ribbon patterns that you like. And Zentangle just released the Project Pack 15 videos starting yesterday. And if you haven't watched it, I would encourage you to watch it because I'm excited by what they're doing this time. They are showing how to make tangles out of the letters of the alphabet. And I thought about trying to do one of these rectangles with a letter, but decided to just wait until I come up with a better idea because mine wasn't coming out very well. Okay, so now I have the aura inside each of these, and now I'm going to add these waves inside each one. And I like to put 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the end of each one of these, you're going to add a little bit of weighting. So it's just a little dot or triangle. Okay, so I'm going to do all of these that are on this side first. So just a little arch. Oops, I got that one a little bit too big. It's okay, we're not looking for perfection. Yeah, okay, I got those spaced a little bit better. So all of last year, I helped to homeschool my 8-year-old granddaughter. And I'm just not a good teacher, not a good homeschool teacher. We did use some online programs that helped a lot, but at my age, I'm finding I'm not very patient, and that's it's just something that's hard for me to do. And I was hoping that they would do well going to school this year, but now I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it and do this other side. Anyway, I hope that wherever you are in the world that you're safe and doing well. I think all of us hoped that this would be gone by now. And I'm on the Texas Gulf Coast. I live halfway between Houston and Galveston. And we are in hurricane season now. So far, we have not had anything come our direction, but it's still early in the hurricane season. Okay, again, I'm just making these arches and then putting a little weighting on the end. And these really look good when you put the shading on. Okay, so again, that was this one. And you can see when you put the shading, it's really cool. And if you do this on a colored tile and then add a white highlight on the top, then that's really nice too. All right, the next one I want to show you is called Zajo by Isabel Wallis. And for this one, I'm going to do a little bit different from the way that they show the step outs. In the step outs, they put little petals along here, and then they put a wave. But I find I do better if I put a wave down the center first. Okay, so just a simple wave. And then at the peak of each of these, I'm going to add a petal. Okay, then I'm going to turn and add petals again from the other side. Okay, so in the step outs, they put these down first, and then they put the wave. I like to do it this way first. And now I'm going to add petals on each side of these. And I'm going to have my last petal come pretty close to where that one is. Okay, same thing over here. And I'm having my petals come up to that top of that wave. Okay, and I'm going to turn it. Do it on this side. Bring this one out almost to the middle there. And then just continue on your other petals. Okay, and then on these sides, I think I'm just going to leave those as they are. You could bring petals from the other sides, but I think I'm just going to leave it. So now what we're going to do is blacken this in. Some people call it puddling. And that's one of the reasons I decided to do this pattern in the center, is so that it would not take a lot of time on this shorter rectangle. Wouldn't take a lot of time to fill these in. So I like to get close to my first pattern with my 01, and then I'm going to take the graphic one. If you don't have the graphic one, then that's fine. I like it for filling in larger spaces. It is the same ink with just kind of like a thicker Sharpie tip. I'm going to go back to my 01 for this part. And as always, I don't speed up my recordings. There are settings in YouTube that allow you to adjust the speed, whether you want it faster or slower. So I leave that up to you. I enjoy watching videos. Sometimes that in itself is a meditation, to watch how someone does their art. But videos that are done at a high speed, I don't enjoy. Some of these patterns I haven't done in a long time, so it's fun to pull these out again and play with them. I've been doing a lot of botanical type art lately, playing with mostly doodling flowers and making just little 4x6 greeting cards. Well, folded, they're 4x6. And haven't done anything with them yet, but I thought about donating them to places where they could sell them. I don't want to start trying to do sales. That to me is a huge stress. So for now, I'm just enjoying it, and then we'll decide what to do. There's also on Facebook, there's a group called Cards for Soldiers, and I could donate to that one also. So for now, I'm just having fun and collecting a set of cards. My sister likes it because she has a free resource of original cards that she can send out. Oops, Okay. The bad thing about this one is that because it's thick, it can accidentally go where I didn't want it to go. Okay, so there's that one. Again, that was Zajo. I'm going to fix this a little bit. Okay. The next one that I want to show you is, which one do I want to do? So let's do Heartswell. Okay. And that is by Helen Williams, and I believe she's a CZT. And to do that, we're going to put a line at the center. And then we're simply going to draw hearts. At the center on that line. It's almost like a little fescue petal. But it is a heart. And again, they don't have to be exactly the same size. Oops. I don't mean to go back inside like I did there, but no mistakes. Okay, so simple hearts all the way up. And now we're going to go back down and just add auras on each of our hearts. And where we have a little bit of room left, your negative space, we're going to fill that in. Okay, so we're going to do that on both sides. And I'm getting about 3 auras on each side. Remember to relax your hand, relax your shoulders. And I say this often because I need to remind myself. Because even though I say that we don't have to be perfect, I still have that perfectionist inside of me that worries about getting things just right. All right, so we're just going to continue going up, filling these in. Okay, filling in your negative space here. I still tend to grip this pen a little too hard, so take time to stretch your hand if you need to with all these details on this tile. I think this is the first time I've done this pattern as a ribbon. It's kind of cool. I had a lot of comments from people, very nice, saying that they missed my videos, and I really appreciate that. It really warms my heart. I appreciate all of you and your comments, and that you've subscribed to my channel and that you support it. I really appreciate that. All right. So the next one I want to do is called Wrapped by Gale, Sherman. And it's really just an S shape. So we're going to do an S. Okay. And then where your S ended, you're just going to come back in and do a swirl. And from the top of it, also come back in and do a swirl. Very simple. But as you can see on this, when you add the shading, it really makes it pop. You can do it as a ribbon like this also. Okay. So we're going to do that in this one. So again, we're just going to start with an S. And then when you come back around, make a curl, come back to this one and make a curl. And we're just going to continue going down like that. You can see mine are not all exactly the same, and that's okay. You might find which one you like the best and try to follow that. Definitely got that one bigger on the bottom than the top. Like I said, if you happen to use that hashtag and go look at some of the examples of what other artists have done with this BBCV tangling tile, it is awesome. You could even fill it with the same pattern, whatever your favorite pattern is. I've seen them filled with henna drum or flax, muka, anything. Okay, so that is wrapped. And the last one that I want to show you is called Remo by Ann Marks. And for that one, we're going to do, like I say, kind of a triangle or zigzag type pattern with these leaves or petals first. Rice shapes. Sorry. And if you're lucky, you get them to start and end in the corners. All right, so next thing is we're going to put like a crescent moon in here. Fill that in. And then an R. And I'm going to do that all on this side first, and then I'll flip it. I enjoy going back and looking at some of my first tiles because it helps me remember just how much I enjoyed finding Zentangle and relaxing with learning and drawing new patterns. And I'm really hoping that these cordings don't end up all choppy again. I don't know how to fix it. And I don't want to go back to my other internet service provider. So just doing my best. That's what we all can hope to do, is just do our best. Oh, sorry, that's how I ended that one. Okay, so now we're going to add just these lines coming down. I like to start in the very middle and bring my line down. And these are kind of close together. And I'm relaxing my hand more, so I'm not doing a heavy line. I think it would be cool to see a lot of these tiles on Instagram again. Maybe I can start a new wave of bye-bye coronavirus tiles. That would be fun. Okay, I'm going to flip it and do the other side. Filling in little spaces up here when I see it. I've started bringing my dog's bed in here with me when I do things like this, and I think it's helping her to relax more and stay more quiet. She is an almost 2-year-old Staffordshire Terrier, and she is a bundle of energy. Oop, here we go. Okay, now let's do some shading. Let's zoom out just a tiny bit. All right, so for these, I'm going to add a little bit of graphite where these lines meet. Okay, I'm going to turn and do that on the other side. I think you could vary this as much as you wanted. You could add, orbs in here if you wanted. Just like I usually say, what if you did this? How would it look? Just try it. But I'm going to leave it the way that it is for now. Just using the blending stump to soften this along each of these edges. Okay, so there's that one. On this one, I'm going to add graphite just along the edge on each side, a little bit heavy. Turn it so that I'm pointing my pencil toward the line. Makes it a little bit easier to keep it straight and not go over that border. All right, now get your blending stump and just pull that toward the center. But we want to leave the center white. So I like how that makes that look rounded. On the Heartswell, I'm going to put a line of graphite right up the center of these hearts. And I'm adding a fair amount. And then I'm going to take my blending stump and smooth that out. And then with what I still have left on the blending stump, I'm just going to push a little bit out where those petals meet. But since it's already kind of dark in there, I'm not going to add a lot of shading. But again, that's up to you. If you like a lot of shading, go for it. I think it's Martha or Molly, both of them add a lot of graphite. All right, now on to this one, the Zajo. I'm going to add graphite right at the bottom. Of each of these flowers. And then I'm going to use my blending stump to soften that and push it up. Okay. On this one, which is Golven, I'm going to add graphite on the edge of each of these triangles. These tiles would also be really pretty colored. I've done a little bit more playing around with watercolor brushes. But still, my favorite thing to do is to start with the tile that I've already added watercolor to it and then add my patterns on top of that. Okay, so back to my blending stump. I'm going to soften those and just pull them toward the middle, but make sure you keep the white in the center of each of these little cones, however you want to call it. The center of each triangle. stays white. I'm going to use my kneaded eraser, and I just want to remove any of that graphite that went down the center of these. That's what I like about the kneaded erasers. You can make it kind of narrow. Clean that up just a little bit. And then on these little leaves, I'm just going to put a little graphite where I added the lines. And yeah, I did that one rock upside down, but it's okay. And then just soften that a little bit. All right, there we go. I'm going to add my chop. I'm going to put it here. All right, done. I hope you enjoyed that. I did. I'm happy to be back. And I'm hoping that the recording went well. I hope that you enjoyed this. And I hope that you'll try this again with some other patterns and tag me. Let me know what you think. I'd love to see what you've done. Please hit the like button. And if you have not, please subscribe and hit the alert button so that you know when I've added a new video. And if you're so inclined, I would love for you to buy me a cup of coffee. If you look at the link in the description, that is at ko-fi.com. That's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good weekend, and I hope that you stay well, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.